In a small village by the great Omugwo River, life was a mixture of joy and sorrow. The river was the source of life, but it also carried secrets that no one dared to speak of. One of those secrets began on a quiet night, under the light of a full moon. Adaku's cries pierced through the stillness. Her mother, Neka, stood trembling by the riverbank, her face wet with tears. She looked down at her baby girl, wrapped in a faded piece of cloth. "I am sorry, my child," Neka whispered, her voice shaking. "The world has been cruel to me, and I have nothing to give you. Perhaps the river will show you mercy." With a heavy heart, Neka placed the baby near the water's edge and disappeared into the shadows. The river glistened under the moonlight, its waves whispering secrets. As Adaku's cries softened into the night, the water rippled unnaturally, glowing faintly. From beneath its depths emerged a figure with flowing hair like seaweed and eyes as deep as the ocean. It was Ijeoma, the queen of the river mermaids. "This child has been forsaken," Ijeoma murmured, cradling Adaku in her arms. "But she is innocent. She will be one of us." The mermaids gathered, their voices harmonizing with the river's current. Together, they took Adaku beneath the water, into their magical world of shimmering caves and coral palaces. Years passed, and Adaku grew into a radiant young woman. Her ebony skin shimmered like the river itself, and her voice was as soothing as the evening breeze. She called Ijeoma mother and lived among the mermaids, never questioning her place in their watery realm. But as she matured, Adaku began to feel restless. She often sat by the water's edge, gazing at the distant village she could barely remember. "Mother," Adaku asked one day, "why am I different from you and my sisters? Why do I long for the world above?" Ijeoma's expression darkened. "You are special, my child," she said carefully. "But the world above is filled with pain. Stay with us, where you are loved." Adaku nodded, but the ache in her heart grew stronger. One stormy evening, while the mermaids sang their nightly melodies, Adaku heard something unusual, sobbing. She swam to the surface and saw a man kneeling by the riverbank. His shoulders shook as he cried. "Who are you?" Adaku called out, her voice carrying through the rain. The man looked up, startled. His name was Chaik, a hunter from the village. "Who speaks to me?" he asked. Adaku hesitated. "I am a friend of the river." Chaik stood, his eyes narrowing as he scanned the water. "A friend of the river? Then you must know its magic. They say it has taken many souls, including my mother's. Tell me, can the river bring someone back?" Adaku felt a pang of sadness. "The river does not take without reason," she said. "But sometimes, it gives back what was lost." Their conversation continued, and as the nights passed, Adaku and Chaik grew closer. He spoke of the village, its struggles, and its joys. Adaku felt a pull toward the life she had never known. One night, Adaku approached Ijeoma. "Mother, I want to go to the world above," she said firmly. Ijeoma's face was unreadable. "If you leave, you may never return," she warned. "The land is harsh, and your heart may break. Are you ready for that?" Adaku's voice trembled, but her resolve was unshaken. "I must know who I truly am." Ijeoma sighed, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Very well, my child. But remember, you will always have a home here." With a wave of her hand, Ijeoma granted Adaku legs and sent her to the shore. Adaku stepped onto the land, her heart pounding. She found Chaik waiting for her, his eyes widening in amazement. "You're real," he whispered. She nodded. "Yes, and I want to know this world." But as Adaku walked through the village, whispers followed her. "She looks like Neka," the villagers murmured. "Could she be the child that was abandoned long ago?" One woman approached her cautiously. "Who are you, my dear?" she asked. "I am Adaku," she replied. "I was born here, wasn't I?" The woman's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, child. Your mother was Neka. She left you by the river because she had no choice. Life was cruel to her." Adaku felt a surge of emotions, anger, sadness, and understanding. She sought out Neka, who lived on the village's outskirts. When their eyes met, Neko froze. Adaku, she whispered, her voice breaking. Yes, mother, Adaku said, tears streaming down her face. I am your daughter. Neko fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. Forgive me, my child. I never stopped loving you. I prayed every day that the river would protect you. Adaku knelt beside her and embraced her tightly. The river did more than protect me, she said softly. It gave me a family. But now, I am here to make my own. Adaku chose to stay in the village, bridging the gap between her two worlds. Though she missed the mermaids, she carried their love in her heart. The river, ever watchful, glistened with pride, knowing it had given Adaku the strength to find herself.